And he's created an artificial nose that can detect prostate cancer before any of our current diagnostic tests can.
No way.
And get this might cause some trouble for some people that you know. It can detect pregnancy earlier than any test at the moment, and it can tell who the father is.
Nuh-uh. Oh my God.
You like to share what you said?
Yeah, for sure. I talk about this sometimes on here, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but this is an environment where it's like helpful to share about that kind of stuff. Yeah, my mother had like a condition, I think, where she couldn't, she had like this kind of almost, I say like it's an emotional autism in a way, but she didn't know if there was something wrong with you. Yeah, my mother didn't really build like a connection with me when I was young. She didn't really look at me. She didn't touch me very much, and she couldn't tell if there was something wrong with me. So if I was sitting somewhere crying, she didn't understand there was something wrong, right? Or if I looked scared, she didn't understand there was something wrong. Now, if I had a cut on my arm, she immediately could be like, oh, what's going on here? Because it was very, I don't know if it was obvious
or it's tangible. It's physical.
It was tangible, yeah. But anything that was intangible, like emotional, there was nothing there, you know? And so I think, when I grew up, it was just like that a lot. And so I was constantly in fright or flight, probably.
Yeah. And I know that you want to like heal and move on and not flog a dead horse, but I really feel like I can bring some new information to you that could really help you.
No, it's good.
So there's a psychological sort of construct called psychosocial stages of childhood development. Now, Freud first described this and basically said, you know, whether it's from 0 to 2 or 2 to 5 or 5 to 7, whenever you feel like the first, you know, separation from your parents or illness or something happened, there's a rewiring of that child's brain. And Freud said the outcome is always bad. So something goes wrong. You know, you suffered neglect or trauma. This is what's going to be wrong with you. But Erickson came along later and said that it could be a vice or a virtue. So something could go wrong. And obviously a lot of people end up, you know, with substance abuse or criminality and things like that. But if you're lucky, if you have, you know, one supportive adult in your life, or you as a child make some kind of amazing intuitive choice, then you can go down the other path. Now, for you, having experienced this from 0 to 18 months, which is the first stage, and then on, it's the vice and virtue are mistrust and trust. So if you go down the road of mistrust, it's feeling unsafe in your environment and having fear of future events. But it's also possible that you could have gone down the road of feeling safe in your environment and hopeful for future events. And the piece I really loved, which is connected to the gift. So after you shared that with me before I flew, I never ever take a gift to someone if I'm going to do a podcast. And I also think it's maybe a slightly strange thing to do, but I just had this feeling in my heart, like I really want to get him a gift. And obviously that shop is like very English, so that made sense. But I walked around the entire store and I looked at every tea, and it has like teas and jams and cookies and stuff. And I finally found that one and picked it. And then I did further research into Erickson. And he basically said that the way for you to heal is through nourishment and affection. And that was exactly why I chose the gift that I chose for you. So obviously my like neuroscience experience kind of brought me to an intuitive answer. But it also said that if you do the right work and you're still in the window of opportunity, because it's sort of in your 40s, you know, midlife is actually a big opportunity to rewire your brain in a really healthy way, then what the outcome that you could have would be a really positive
I don't know, for a lot of guys, it got replaced by pornography too. I think really damaged it, especially for me. You know, once I found pornography, there was a way to have a connection with a woman that was safe enough for me to be in. I knew I wasn't going to be hurt. There was some sexual reward to it. And I could start it and stop it as I wished. And it was the only kind of relationship I could even really handle, kind of. When I was in other relationships, but those weren't, none of them were as long as my relationship with pornography, you know, to be honest. And now, right now, I'm like, I think I'm 77 days off of pornography and 70 days off of masturbation. So I've had sexual activities, but I haven't been, you know, touching my wiener or whatever. People that say different stuff, but, you know, I'm saying, like, I don't know what they say in your country, you know, topping off the
wanking.
Wanking or whatever. Yeah. Thinking of the queen or whatever they say, you know, I don't know what they say. Queen takes rook or whatever. That's like a chess move. But so that's been kind of different, you know. For me, that's been different, but that was a huge thing.
How is it different?
Well, for one, I quit thinking about it. It's like I don't think about pornography. I don't think about like masturbation. I don't have that weird feeling where like I'll masturbate and then I'll just be laying there like I'm still right where I was, but I've like kind of ejaculated or whatever. Because like sometimes like semen, or some people call it what, I don't know what people call it or whatever, like party sauce or whatever. I don't even know if people call it, on the street or whatever. But like I feel like the more I keep it in my body, the more masculine I feel, right? And the more of myself I feel, as opposed to just having a leak of it constantly. It's kind of like almost had a leak of my masculinity, and I would cause the leak, but the leak would happen, and it was just like a dripping pipe. It was like, you look at a dripping pipe, you're like, but you look at a pipe that's not dripping, you're like, hey, this is some pretty good construction.
I like
over
that.
here.
I love that phrase, leak of my masculinity. So
yeah, that's kind of what it felt like, now that I really think about it. And then I start to look at women a little bit. I don't think of it just so much in I've always thought of women in more than just a sexual sense, but the sexual part isn't as strong. It's not like, let me just think about sex. It's giving me a little bit more space in myself to be like, well, let me think about who this person is, and do I really want to engage with them? It starts to give a little bit more value to sex for me, and by that happening, intimacy is kind of created, because for one, I have a little more intimacy with myself, right? It's like I respect my intimacy a little bit more. I'm not just masturbating. I'm not just like, tossing my intimacy off to some person through a screen or something that doesn't really mean anything to me.
Yeah.
And so I think those are some feelings in my head that start to happen. And I start to feel a little bit more, I don't know if it's integrity, but it is a little bit more sense of intimacy with myself.
That's lovely. So one of the reasons that people resort to things like that, particularly after a breakup, is that the brain circuitry that is to do with unrequited love is relieved by certain activities because they cause the same kind of chemical cocktail. And those activities are things like alcohol, cocaine, pornography.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it makes it make sense, right? This is why people
go
will
to those
indulge in
things.
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously they're addictive. So then it becomes something that you need to do more of to get the same reward.
Right. And that becomes your relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then it's like, well, yeah, of course, other relationships are going to be different because I don't even realize the relationships that I put in front of.
And the other thing is that pornography creates such an unrealistic, idealized version of what a woman should look like and what she should be prepared to do in an intimate relationship, or even not in an intimate relationship, like in a one-night stand or very early in dating, that's very damaging to male and female relationships as well. That, the expectation that you will naturally have if you've been looking at that every day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And to not have it in my brain, and it starts to my imagine you're in a, like, if you've created you're in a comfortable relationship, or you mentioned earlier that like families have better chemistry if they sleep together. Did you say something like that? Or sleeping under one roof, like a lot of my Mexican friends are always so happy, and most of their families live together.
Intergenerational.
Yeah. Oh, they sleep on each other's backs sometimes. They just, they're really close knit.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is there scientific evidence to back any of that up?
Yeah, lots. And the research was done on prairie voles.
Prairie, like little animals?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So,
bring up one. Prairie dog.
Vole, not dog.
Prairie vole, they call them. Y'all make everything fancy. We know what they are.
It's not a dog. It's like a little mouse thing.
Oh, it is. Well,
let's see who's right. See?
Oh, prairie vole. I've never seen that. Oh, dang. That's rodentia.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that that almost looks like a little bit of a hamster or something, or a little gerbil.
Gerbil?
Yeah, you don't have them? You got them?
Gerbil.
Oh, it's pronounced, I guess that maybe the J is silent or whatever.
It's not a J.
That gerbil, baby. Look at them. Those are a couple. Oh, I'll make slippers out of them bad boys. I'll make a newborn a set of slippers with them little chunks of warmth. No, those are beautiful.
Make your slippers out of the marsh voles because they are promiscuous. These ones are monogamous. They mate for life.
Oh, they do? Oh, that's beautiful. And so they studied them and they found out that these are healthier animals? Is that what you're going to tell me?
That's a little bit oversimplified.
Okay.
I would say that the research, so basically that they're the same kind of vole, but some of them live in the prairie and some of them live in the marsh.
Okay.
And in the marsh, there's plenty of food and shelter. So, why not have sex with lots of other she voles? Because you can.
It's partying. It's like being in the city.
Yeah. In the prairie, to make sure that your young would survive, it's more advantageous for you to settle down with one Mrs. Vole and protect the children, protect the territory, and share the job of finding food for them.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens in the prairie voles compared to the marsh voles is that certain receptors, so for some of the hormones we discussed, like oxytocin and vasopressin, and dopamine. So if we were prairie voles rather than marsh voles, then you would get a dopamine hit every time you saw me.
Okay.
You would choose me over a different vole. Mm-hmm. It's not like a new strange vole. You'd say, no, I'd rather stay with my vole. And you'd have higher levels of vasopressin and oxytocin. And we'd both have more receptors in the reward centers of the brain for those hormones. So we would just feel so good every time we see each other. If we saw the other one in distress, we would want to comfort them.
Why did they create more receptors?
We don't know why. It's not just that you have more of the hormone, but you have more of the receptors in certain parts of the brain. It's part of the bonding, kind of like increases the bonding, the fact that you've got more of the hormone and more of the receptors, and it's in the reward part of the brain. But actually, it's not just like, if we just hung out together and looked after the babies and fed them and saw each other frequently, that would happen. But sexual activity actually intensifies a second nose that's not connected to the brain.
We have a second nose more than the one on our face?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called the vomeronasal organ, and it detects the smells of things that when you eat them, they give off a vapor like a spicy food, and it actually connects to your heart and makes your heart rate go up, but it doesn't connect directly to your brain. And dogs have them. It's got a special name in dogs, which I can't remember, but that's why they can smell pheromones. And also, I got this research from my colleague at MIT who creates artificial noses, and he's created an artificial nose that can detect prostate cancer before any of our current diagnostic tests can.
No way.
And get this might cause some trouble for some people that you know. It can detect pregnancy earlier than any test at the moment, and it can tell who the father is.
Nuh-uh. Oh my God. So it's going to be like Snorri Povich or whatever. What are they going to put the nose on?
I don't know.
How do they do it? They just hold it up to something?
Yeah.
And what's it made out of?
I think titanium, but it's connected to a machine, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's a robotic nose that can tell if you have cancer, and it can tell if you're pregnant, and tell who the father is. What? Oh. I wonder how expensive it is. Hopefully you can just put $1 in the back of it and find out. Nano nose. Here you go. Early this year, Mershon and his team.
Yeah, Mershon. He's my friend.
They had created a nano nose, a robotic nose powered by AI that could identify cases of prostate cancer from urine samples with 70% accuracy. Wow. So really like a real piss sommelier or something they would call it, or urine sommelier. Wow, the nano nose. What else can it do? Early detection of lung cancer.
They'll start going across the cancers. So cats and dogs in old people's homes, they go and sit outside the door of the person that's dying. And that's because cell death starts to happen before you actually die. And it happens in a certain order. And they can smell when that's happening.
That's crazy.
Andreas Mershon also told me something, but I can't remember why. So I'm going to say it on this podcast so I can send him the link and then ask him to explain.
Okay, fair.
Which is that if you inject rabbits with urine from pregnant women, they get their period.
No. Wow. If you inject them with urine from pregnant women, they get their period. Man. So next time a pregnant woman's like, I'm not a problem, I'll be like, yeah, but you obviously are into you got sorcery running through your body right now. Because that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think that.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. I wouldn't even do it to anybody.